Hi, this is Kathy Quinn with Floriani. Floriani is a division of R&K Distributing, and I want to welcome you to this week's Project of the Week. Well, this week our project comes from some questions I got while I was at Schiller Sewing doing a hands-on event. I had a lady come up and the questions started out, she's stitching on a burp cloth. So that means there's several layers of fabric. You know, you buy those nice diapers that have 6 layers of fabric in the center, and we like to create burp cloths out of them because they're nice and absorbent. But she was having problems. Number one, what stabilizer? And number two, how do you keep the design from shifting around? Well, first off, you're going to either use Floriani Perfect Stick or you're going to use Stitch and Wash Tearaway, the fusible tearaway. Now the reason is we need a stabilizer that's partially water soluble and partially fiber. The reason being that when we're doing burp cloths, a lot of times we're putting lettering on them, we're putting a monogram on them, we're doing something that says new baby or sweet baby, and you really should be using a stabilizer that tears away without distressing the stitches. So Perfect Stick, of course, has a sticky top, and that is my stabilizer of choice. Out of the two in this situation, I would pick Perfect Stick and stick it down. But now that doesn't stop the issue of the top layers shifting on top of the bottom. That bottom layer is definitely stable, but what do we do about the top layers? Well, I'm going to show you. We're going to pretend, I'm going to come over here to my artwork tools, and I'm going to grab a rectangle, and we're going to pretend I'm going to transform this and make this about, I don't know, 8 inches wide and 10 inches long. I have no idea what size a burp cloth is. I mean, a baby's diaper. I don't have one handy with me right now, so that's what we're going to use. So we're going to pretend that this is our cloth. Now, since this is an artwork line, as long as I don't turn it into stitches, it's just going to be there as a visual for me. Now I'm also going to come over and I'm going to bring in a design. So let's go to our library and let's go to our free monthly designs and let's go see what July 2016 has to offer. So now I've selected my folder. I'm coming into my designs page, and these are pretty cool little designs. Oh, this is July 2016. Wait a minute. Shouldn't I have a July 2017? Doesn't look like I've downloaded it. Well, let me go to help. Let's go to myfloriani.club. Bring that up. And let's go ahead and I'm going to sign in, because apparently I didn't download this month's designs. So I'm going to go to where it says monthly designs and project. And there's this month's designs. So I'm going to go ahead and say install the current month. I don't need to install all designs because I have all the other designs. I just neglected to put this month's in. So I want you to notice it's gone to my download folder. So it is downloading my designs. So you're getting a bonus lesson here. If you're not familiar on how to do this, this is a nice refresher. Take just another 6 seconds according to our bar. Okay, so now I'm going to open the file. Now it's going to say current month. I'm going to click on that. And I'm going to run this. Okay to install it. Unzip. And there you go. My files have been successfully unzipped. So let's close all this down. And let me close this down. And let's go back to my library. Let's go to my free monthly designs. I might need to refresh the library. Let's just double check before I do. Oh, I went to browser, not library. Go to my library. There's my free monthly designs. Yep, I have to refresh this. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to close this down. I don't need to save those changes, and we are going to reopen. So as soon as I reopen it up, we'll go back to where we were. There you go. I've got my, come in here, get my rectangle tool again. This is artwork, remember. I'm going to draw it. I'm going to transform it, and I'm going to make it about 8, 9, let's make it 10 wide, I think. There, that's good. And let's make it 12 long. I doubt they're that big, but that'll work for us for our example. Now I'm going to go ahead here and I'm going to apply. Let's fit this to screen. Remember, artwork, it's a visual. Now let's go back to our library. Let's go back to our free monthly designs. Let's go into that July folder. Only this time, let's select 2017. There we go. So let's go into those designs. And here we are. Something tells me I'm off here. Let's see what we've got. Something flat out went crazy here, I think. Because those sure don't look like the designs we saw, does it? Nope. I don't know what happened. Let's go to library again. Let's just close everything up. Oh, that's because I was in the projects. Excuse me. I need to be in the free monthly designs. That'll mess it up every time. There you go. Now let's go to the designs. There we are. Okay, we're going to put this little heart on our burp cloth. Now I'm going to go ahead with it here. I'm going to select it. And I'm going to scale it down some. And I'm going to put some lettering. So I'll come and get my lettering. I'm going to get my circle lettering. I'm going to click on screen. And I'm going to type in All American Baby Boy. All right. Now I'm going to make that font smaller. I'm going to apply. I'll stay with my compact block right now because it doesn't really matter. We're just getting an idea of what we're doing. Okay, let's see here. Let's see where we are. I'll make that a little smaller. Now, of course, you saw me playing with all the features on here. This top one will make it larger. Change the spacing of the letters and it will make it larger. Okay, this one on the right will make it longer. It won't change the height, but it will change the spacing in between the letters. We're getting a little letter. Okay, this is my rotate, but I can use that also to make it smaller and line up things where I want them. So I've got All American Baby Boy here. Now here's my problem. When this starts stitching, I'm going to have some problems in here because the fabric is really not stable. We have stabilized the back piece of this diaper for our stitching, but what are we doing about the top 5 layers that are moving around? What you're going to do is I'm going to show you a real easy way to deal with this. We are going to go ahead and come to our artwork tool again. I'm going to grab a box and I'm going to draw a rectangle right around Baby Boy, right around this. Going to have it kiss pretty close. Okay. Okay, and let's just grab that and grab everything on there. And let's move these up a little bit. It's too close to the end of the diaper if that's what we were doing. Okay, alrighty. Now, this box that I've just created is artwork. Remember, we haven't done anything with it yet. It's vector art, and I've made it really close for a reason, because I'm going to change that box, and I'm going to change it to a nice texture, a motif fill is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to click on it. Now in my motif fills, I'm going to come in here, and I have a fill number 204. It's a diamond fill. Now I'm going to change the stitch length on this till it's about an inch. I'm sorry, the pattern size. I apologize. We're going to leave the stitch length alone. We're going to change the pattern size to about an inch. Because right now I'm in millimeters here. So now when I apply, you're going to get a nice inch grid here. Now I've got this. I'm going to change the color of it just for ease for you. Let's pick a color. There we go. Now we go. Now we've got a color here. What I'm going to do is in my sequence view, I'm going to grab this, right mouse click on this color. I got my pen up. I don't want my pen. And I'm going to tell it to move to the first. I want it the first thing to stitch out. Now let me tell you what we're going to do. This is really a cool way to deal with this stuff. Now this artwork means nothing. It's not going to stitch out. It's just the visual. What's going to happen is you're going to use water-soluble bobbin thread. You can buy it at all your local stores, your local sewing machine stores. Buy a spool, they're not very big, of water-soluble bobbin thread. You wind your bobbin very slowly or by hand. Don't try and run it at breakneck speed through your machine. Put your bobbin in, and now you're going to put your top in. Now what's going to happen is you're going to stitch down this grid. Now what has that done for us? That has held all 6 of those layers together. Now they're stable because they've all been attached to that Perfect Stick stabilizer, so it's now all stable. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and stitch out our design. Once that's done, then now remember, when you go to stitch your design, change your bobbin thread from water soluble to regular bobbin thread. Put a sticky note on your machine because I have a classic story of where I forgot to change my bobbin thread. So please remember to change your bobbin thread. Then what happens is when this is all done, you can lightly spritz the back, and wait a minute, all that water soluble goes away, and you can just pull this off the top, and if it's underneath something, if it doesn't pull out very easily, you just trim it off. One thing I did neglect to mention, and I apologize, let's bring our properties box back up. When I make this a 25 pattern, I'm going to change my stitch length to 4 millimeters because I want long stitches. I want them to easily come out of my basting. So anytime you're doing a windbreaker with a lining, you're doing a burp cloth with several layers, you're doing a Carhartt jacket, anything where you've got layers that can shift on you. You know, classic is some of those nice little beautiful knit blankets they have for babies. There is one piece of knit on the bottom, one on the top, and has a beautiful binding around it. Well, they shift like mad when you're trying to stitch on them. But if you'll simply baste underneath your stitches first, baste all those layers together, I guarantee you'll have a great embroidery. Now, of course, we would top this with Heat and Gone or water-soluble topping. Now, let's just go, if you don't remember what stabilizers, we would go to File, Save to Sew. I would come in here and I would say, I'm going to use a bird's eye diaper. I didn't digitize this. I'm going to go ahead and let Walter change any of the settings he needs to. Now when I go to next, notice it's telling me Floriani Heat and Stay because it's assuming I'm going to hoop it. So I'm going to come back. I actually don't want to hoop this. Well, it is what it is. Let's come on over and see what they tell us. Well, now they have said Heat and Stay instead of stitch and wash fusible. But the reason I'm using fusible, stitch and wash fusible, is because while this design would probably be fine, we don't want to tear away from our satin stitching. I would want to go ahead and use that. Now if you look down here, Debbie gives you a little bit more instructions down here that you could use. We also have hoop and inappropriate hoop. If you're not going to put it in the hoop, and some of our ladies do not have the hand strength to do so, what you're going to do is you're going to hoop the perfect stick, and you will merely stick it down. Then you'll go ahead and put the topping, which would be your heat and gone, and then go ahead and stitch this out. Now we will finish. Now what this is going to do for us is it is going to put our instructions in our design notes, so in case you forget. Now again, I'm using perfect stick instead of heat and stay. They both do the same job as far as the stabilizer, but I'm sticking mine down. I am not putting it in a hoop. So I hope you enjoyed today's lesson. I hope it gave you a little insight into a little bit better embroidery with multiple layered clothing, burp cloths, objects. Hope to see you next week. Hope you enjoyed the project of the week. See you then.